kilobits. Today we're going to be taking a look at USB SSD enclosures for SATA or NVMe drives. You see the SATA one 5 gigabit a second, the NVMe one 10 gig a second. But today we're going to open this one up, build with it, and then tomorrow when my drive arrives we'll do some comparisons. And having already used a couple of these, I can tell you that they're pretty good, and these ones are available for like a tenner. This one was less than 20 quid, so they're pretty good. So yeah, let's have a look, because there's a couple of things to talk about, a couple of downsides as well as a few upsides. So let's get over to the bench and open it up and see what we can see. I'll cut to me opening it in a minute, but I'll be wearing different clothes probably. So when you open one of these, it comes in fairly craptastic packaging. You get this cheap plastic thingy and a little bag underneath, and with the 10 gig variant, the NVMe variant, you get 2 USB cables. You get a type A to type C. Can you see that through the bag? Well, that's what you get anyway. Type A to type C and type C to type C. And you get one of these screwdrivers. I was actually holding one of these screwdrivers. You get, here's another one. You get one of these screwdrivers. You also get a thermal pad, 2 clips and 2 screws. So you get a spare clip and a spare screw basically, because you only need one of each. And an instruction manual that I've never read. Now I'm going to move straight to the downsides. That's not enough thermal pads in my opinion. There should be 2 long ones. That's what I reckon. It is possible to make this work. I'll show you what goes on in a second. So to open it up, you want to kind of slide it a bit and then you can lift it away. That reveals the metal heatsink. That's plastic. And then you can just sort of lever up, not just lean up the PCB and pull it out. It's got a controller on the back, and there's the PCB. Let me just get my So here is a drive I prepared earlier. And as you can see, I've stuck thermal pads on the front and back. So the controller's there, and I've stuck 2 1/2mm thick, maybe 2 1mm thick. I don't know, 2 fairly thick thermal pads, another 2 fairly thick thermal pads there, and I've doubled up the thermal pad that comes with it to stick on the actual NAND. Then on the underside, I've got some more thermal pads basically. I've just scrounged thermal pads from where I can and put them on it. But if you have to use the thermal pad that comes with it, I would say fold it over and put it on the controller. In my opinion, not only is this not thick enough, but there's not enough of them. So with a decent amount of thermal pads both sides, you can simply slot it in like so. Actually, it's better if you do the clip first. Oh, there is one more thing I would point out. It's got an LED right there that flashes when there's disk access. Now this is going to be in my bedroom, so, and an NVIDIA Shield. So, oh, that's off center. Wasn't off center on previous ones. Oh wow, that meant to be off center. Yeah, that wasn't off center on previous ones. Interesting. So now I'm not sure entirely which way up that goes. I'll move it like that. Anyway, as I was saying, it's got quite a bright LED on it. So you may want to just cover that up. So yeah, put my little clip in, spin it around like that. That holds the thing. There's conducting heat to the board and up to the heatsink as well. So that's ready to roll. What I will do is cover this up with a bit of electrical tape. There we go. So I'm just going to cover up the LED like that. Maybe I'll put a couple of layers on it because it has stretched out a little bit. Yeah, I'm stretching it right out. 3 layers. If I can still get it in the case, then I'll go with 3 layers. Because I don't want flashing lights in my bedroom. Yeah, it still fits. Cool. Cool. One more for luck then. Why not? It can't hurt. Yeah, there you go. There we go. No more LED. So then you take your little heatsink. It's got a lip one end that goes into by the drive end like that. That exposes that hole or lines up that hole. This is where the LED would shine out of. The first time I used one of these I had to tape over the actual heatsink like that rather than open it back up. Well, that heatsink's not clipped in properly. Let me have another go at that. So yeah, again, dig that lip in down there. Yeah, see, you can see because I've put an extra thick thermal pad in there, it takes a bit of squishing up, which is exactly what you want. You want to know it's making contact. I mean, maybe this one is thick enough, but it didn't feel like it was squashing down at all. It just flopped shut. I thought, well, I don't believe that it's doing anything. And you lose all temperature reading when this is on, so you kind of need to know it's making contact, really. So yeah, do me screw up, but with that much thermal pad, it does do up. So I reckon that's right, to be honest. So yeah, nowhere near enough thermal pad provided. That's one definite downside. So let's have a look at the SATA version. Very similar packaging. Also comes with a screwdriver. Just the one wire with this one. USB to Type C. Just the one, oh no, wait. Yeah, 2 screws, 2 clips, and 1 thermal pad. The device looks pretty similar from the outside, apart from the number 5 there. That's like when I get it open. Looks pretty similar. So yeah, the only difference being it's a different controller, and the key is the other way round, and it's the B key. Okay, cool. So my new drive has arrived. Filming this section a couple of days later. And for this I'm going to be using, wow, this is actually brand new. Do you know, I thought I was buying this second hand, but clearly he's never used it. Nice. Oh, anyway, for this one I'm using a 250 gig 860 Evo. When I get a M.2 drive, I like to peel the sticker off, because now some of these are actually metallic, but this one's actually just full plastic. I like to try and keep it intact if I can, and maybe stick it to the back, but what are you getting? You couldn't really see that I'd already done that on the last one, but you'll have to trust me when I say that I had. But yeah, what are you getting out of having a sticker. Now I think it does say something along the line of warranty void if removed. So bear that in mind. And also, I'm picking away right by some of these surface mount devices, resistors and so on. So don't let any of those get chipped off or anything. Well, that's being awkward. Yeah, okay, I've got it. And then I just stick that to the back, or just, you know, I try and keep it about the device somewhere. If there was chips on the back, then I might reconsider that, but I just try and make it so that it's not covering up the chips. That way thermal pads are applied directly to it. So what you're going to see with this one then is me trying to work with what they've given me, which is going to be like you guys at home, not having a stack of thermal pads to work with. So if I tear that in half and I plonk it there, and then I plonk that one on top of it, I'll go and see if I've got any more. So the only other thermal pads I could find were one that come with the other enclosure, so I'm going to have to make do with only one more little one, which is a shame. So what I'll probably do is just use little bits of it here and there. I'm going to use this tiny little sliver doubled up to go over the DRAM, and then I'm going to cut that up a bit, maybe, I suppose. Christ, that's not a lot, is it, for the NAND? But then the NAND doesn't need as much anyway. In fact, it probably doesn't need any, and it's only going to go at SATA speed, so this thing, I mean, having it on the controller is actually probably enough, to be fair, but I'm sure most people will agree with me here when I say that I don't think that's quite the way to do it. Huh. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna have it one layer thick on the NAND then, because there's just not enough to double up, is there? I don't know, maybe I'll roll it over or something. We'll see. Oh, if I can get it peeled off. There we go, it's coming. Right, get out of it. Yeah, sort of one central blob on the NAND there. That'll do. And then, as I said already, it's going to have nothing on the back, which means that there's nothing to stop it from bowing, which is what I don't like, which is another thing I don't like. You get some decent thermal pad together. Oh, I'm gonna have to cut that. For whatever reason, this one seems to only be sticky on one side, which is odd. There we go. Oh, careful. Right, okay, one more thing I'm gonna have to do then. Just take some of it. It doesn't need to be 2 layers thick on the back, I think 1 layer thick is enough, but it wants something on the back just to stop the whole thing, or the whole PCB from flexing. I'm just going to put 1 there and 1 there. Yeah, one directly behind the controller and 1 directly behind the NAND. And the upshot of that is it kind of supports the PCB, because when you're pushing down here, if it's not at least supported to the height of that, then you're going to flex the board. And where we're putting extra in there anyway, you're going to be flexing the board more than they designed it for. So, if that makes sense. Anyway, my recommendation is that you have something there, even if it's not a thermal pad. Have something there. So what you probably can't see at the moment is that even then they're not actually touching. In fact, it's not until you push down slightly that they're touching, but that's okay because they will be getting pushed down in a minute. Now, something that I'd like to try and do here, as I pointed out with the previous one, something I like to try and do is cover up that LED. For this particular, for where I will be using it, it won't be such a problem as the other one, which will be in the bedroom. I feel that I'm not making sense today, but there we go. I probably made sense in the previous section, so you should be able to get all the information you need from this video still. Okay, so wow, that didn't line up very well. There we go. Right, so you get the dongle dangle in the hole, slot it all together like so. Just jiggle it until it goes together pretty much. Get this bit that way round. Get the little lippy bit. Go down with it until it clips into the hole. Get your little screw that comes in your little bag, and your little screwdriver that comes in the package as well, and attach them all together. That's it really. There we are, we're good to go. So one thing I'd like to point out about the difference between this is the SATA SSD enclosure, and this is the NVMe one there, the one that says cache. And with the NVMe one, you lose, this is the controller name, so you lose the device ID and you just get the controller name. So if you're going to use this on an NVIDIA Shield or whatever, and you wanted to swap the SSD in the same enclosure, you would have to reset the NVIDIA Shield with this, because it would still have the same device ID, because it would be tied to the controller. Whereas with the SATA one, the device ID gets passed through, and that is actually the correct device ID. So there may be a plus side to actually using the SATA one for something like a NVIDIA Shield, just in case you ever want to upgrade it without resetting the whole device. And also I'd like to point out that with both devices you lose the ability to monitor the temperature. So you want to make sure that they're cool, hence I go a little overboard with the thermal pads and so on, because you're not going to know what temperature they're at once they're installed. So this is the performance of the SATA one, and performance of the NVMe one was pretty similar to this really when plugged into a 3.0 port. Obviously performance of a 3.1 port would be potentially double this, though I haven't tested that, but it should be. So yeah, performance is fairly reasonable, and obviously these numbers are dependent on the exact drive fitted, and also even potentially the system used, but you can see that they're reasonable.